Want to take a peek into some of the things that I've done to start cranking up the fat burning again, being over 40. And this is even when you're doing everything right. Let's fix that today. I'm giving you the full update on optimizing my 6 pillars of health, which I talk about all the time in my SKOOL community. You can check that in the show notes as well. But everything, how I dial in my high protein diet, how I manage my low carb to high carb cycling, all the way to wearing a weight vest to the grocery store. Also, the newest updates on different programs out there to help you check out your gut health and which types of probiotics to take. I'm just going to be sharing the real practical tweaks I've been doing from all the stuff I've been learning on my podcasts and my own low-level biohacking, and hoping that it helps you or helps get you motivated into getting back into that fat burning cycle. So if you're over 40 and looking for some help, you're in the right place. So before we start, I wanted to show you my SKOOL community I'm always talking about, but this is where I'm spending all my time. This is where I'm answering people's questions. We're brainstorming, doing coffee chats. I'll be starting a Q&A on Tuesday or Thursday, where basically I'm just giving out free personal training. First come, first serve. And this is the platform I'm trying to grow. This is where I want everyone to join who's over 40, looking at getting overall health, a lean body, and possibly some low-level biohacking. But it's not just me talking on here. I've got other people who are into the space who are contributing as well. So if you're at all interested, get in while you can, and then we'll just grow from there. So other than that, let's get on with the episode. All right, so I wanted to do this episode. I had a client basically just ask me, what are you eating every day? And it kind of just made me go back to my philosophy of the 6 pillars of fitness. I've kind of categorized everything in overall health to these 6 topics. And one is mastering your diet, movement, not just working out with weights, but movement in general, inflammation in your body. I also kind of throw gut health in there, sleep, stress management, and the fail-safe is supplements at number 6. Trying to get what you can from your diet in this day and age. It's impossible, type of diet you're doing. Like, I'm mostly keto. It's a little hard for me to get certain vitamins and minerals, and it's just easier to supplement them. So I thought for this episode, let's dive into those 6 pillars of what I'm doing. Not going too in depth, just some of the things that I'm doing that's new, I'm adding to the program. For those that want to go real in depth, you can join my SKOOL community and watch all these videos and learn everything. I just thought it'd be fun to just lightly touch on them. All right, so let's stick with number 1, diet. What am I doing in a typical day? I just pulled up yesterday. It was a pretty good day. As you can see here, I had 2,100 calories. My protein was on point. I try to hit anywhere from 170 to 200 grams of protein per day. I hit 2,100 calories, and I did that because I burned 2,600 calories on my Whoop. That's also why I always preach using these fitness trackers to really biohack your diet down. So I was at a deficit, add that to the bank. Let's try not to ruin it this weekend. Anyways, let's check it out. Breakfast for me is really lunchtime. It's just my first meal. I had a flat iron steak. I got a jerky that has beef liver and beef heart in it. Get the benefits of, those organ meats because I refuse to eat them and cook them the normal way. So this is the only way I'll do it. A little excess sodium, but that's fine. I count my sodium and potassium to make sure they're in balance. And then always some kind of mixed salad. I try to get a variety of different vegetables. I tend to stay away from the ones that have high oxalates like spinach and kale. Yesterday was a refeed day for me. I'm mostly keto, like I mentioned, but to help with my hormones and that midweek slump, I boost up my carbohydrates a little bit to get everything back in order. So I did basically a half-baked potato. And all my vegetables in my salad are raw, organic if I can buy it. If not, I clean and wash my vegetables. But I try to get a variety of everything I can. So that's it. I think I hit about 800 calories, 75 grams of protein. Usually I try to hit a little bit higher than that and go a little lighter on dinner, but just didn't work that day. And at dinner, I try to have the same thing, some type of meat, raw vegetable, but at the end of the day, you start getting your cravings and I want variety. This is where I start playing into some of the gut health things that I've been learning about. I've done gut health tests. For me specifically, some of these items were on my sheet, so I add that into my routine. But right here, ground turkey, I did turkey tacos, a couple corn tortillas, using some guacamole, a little bit of mayo dressing. And then I also had a little bit of wild salmon with some pesto sauce. Of course, my mixed veggies, and I had to try to get at least 1 egg in a day. Pumpkin seeds, cashews, pistachio nuts. Those are all on my gut health microbiome suggestions. And just a few of my daughter's Ruffles potato chips right at the end of the meal. Always eat your fiber and protein first, any carbohydrates after, and then any of the bad stuff if you're going to do it. So that's a typical day for me. My lunch is probably the cleanest. I don't mess around. And at dinner, I probably throw in a few extra things with a little bit of treats at the end. The only thing I'm focusing on now is having enough fiber in the day. I use a fiber supplement. I've had a podcast guest today come on and teaching me a little bit about stepping up your game on fiber, making sure you get a supplement that has the insoluble and soluble fiber. Psyllium husk is only the soluble fiber. I should probably switch that supplement out, which I'm looking into. This is why I love podcasting and meeting people, just these tiny little things to step up your game. Having the fiber supplement before you start eating just slows down your blood glucose levels, makes it easier for your insulin not to get spiked too high, come down faster, which I preach all the time is if you can control your insulin, that is basically the reason why your body's never in a fat burning mode. Is if you put food in your mouth and the glucose is too high, it takes insulin that long to get nutrients where it needs to go and basically shuts off almost all fat oxidation. All right, so that's it for that. Let's go to movement. And so for movement, basically I train Monday, Wednesday, Friday at the gym. I do 30 minutes, full body every time. I focus on legs, back, and chest, always doing a different type of exercise to get different angles, different muscle fibers. I do everything time under tension. So that's basically any exercise you can think of can still follow the philosophy of doing more time under tension. You're just slowing the exercise down. So instead of doing squats and just repping out 1 to 2 second squats real fast, even with weights, I tone it down to 5 to 8 seconds, sometimes 10 seconds, and using half the weights. 1, I'm giving my joints a break. 2, you're getting more mind-body connection and really feeling what muscles you're working and which types of exercise feel like they're engaging the muscle fibers that you're looking to get. But just more time under tension and doing those squats for a longer time, say a minute, 30 seconds, that's a lot more time than the old school method of repping out 10 to 15 reps really quick and I'm done in 45 seconds. So that's the theory. And yes, there's something to say about progressive overload, going heavier. You can still do that with time under tension. You just pick a weight that works and then set that time and then progressively get heavier, still abiding by those time constraints. So it still works, it just takes longer. And then also making sure you're doing effective reps. You're not quitting just because you hit your number. You're going to failure on most exercises. And I still try to hit at least 5 reps doing this time under tension. If I can increase the weights, I will. If I can't, then I'll stay where I am and continue to work on getting strong. Besides doing my workouts 3 times a week, on my off days, Tuesday and Thursday, my main focus is physical therapy and walking. This is probably the greatest fitness product I've ever gotten for my off days, and that's this Hyperwear weight vest. It is the most form-fitting, least amount of pain on the shoulders because everything spreads so well. And on top of that, it's the thinnest weight vest I've ever bought, so you can actually hide it under a shirt or a sweater or hoodie. And pretty much I'm wearing this on Tuesday, Thursdays, and also sometimes on my long hikes up the hill on one of the weekend days. The other thing I do is rebounding, which I occasionally put this weight vest on. And this Jump Sport rebounder, actually had this gentleman, founder of Jump Sport, on my show, just going into, all the different benefits of rebounding. It's easy on your joints. I have a spinal issue from moving heavy equipment throughout my life and ended up getting a herniated disc. This has been just a lifesaver of being able to get some high intensity in. Not only that, but working on your pelvic floor muscles. It's good for prostate health. Any type of exercises can be done on that platform to still give you that shock absorbing help. Best thing for me is when I'm playing video games and trying to do cardio while having fun, this is a lot easier to stay in one place and not fall off like I would normally with a walking treadmill. So I think in the movement category, I've pretty much maxed out. Like I said, physical therapy, I get my weight training gym days. And then other than that, just movement, whether it's on rebounder or walking. I really have no desire right now to go do boxing, Pilates, yoga, anything extra. It's so much easier for my time just to go walk somewhere like the grocery store, something I need to do anyways. And instead of driving there, just get some extra calories burned that way. Or being out in nature, going up the hill or going into my local park, wearing a weight vest and doing it that way. So for inflammation in my body, besides not eating processed foods as much, one of the things I started taking was this turmeric gold product from Fusionary Formulas. I actually had Dr. Shupta on my podcast, which is another reason I keep putting that out there is supplement founders are willing to come on podcasts and talk about their mission. You need to be really passionate about what you do. You need to know your company is doing all the right things and it has really high quality, or you're going to get burned on a fitness show or a longevity show. And you don't see any of those companies that are questionable trying to get on shows and talk. They're literally just spending their money on ad money, and that's all they care about. So this is why, when I meet someone, I really am sold on a product, and I'll just switch out my supplement I was already taking. But this one I've been taking just mostly because of talking to Dr. Shupta, the quality of their product. And I already knew turmeric, plays a part in helping with inflammation and a slew of other things. Learning that besides the turmeric, the curcumin is really the stuff you're after. And a lot of products don't tell you the split. And this product does show you that majority of it is coming from the curcumin and not just the whole turmeric root. This has been a big thing that I've been doing. The other thing I've been working on for the last year, if you've been listening to my podcast, is working on my gut health and microbiome. All plays a part in inflammation in the body. And I've taken tests before and recently just took this new one with this company called Tiny Health, and light years ahead of the other testing that I've done. And that testing did help and was great. But with Tiny Health, they're on the next level of reporting and giving advice of what to do to fix your microbiome to what we think today is a perfect human specimen, athletic or whatnot. They give you your main findings, and then you can look at all your metrics. It's hard to fix everything. So let's pick from the top all the bad apples and get those done. Even being a pretty high score comparatively to the rest of my family, it still behooves me to, try to get this score from an 83 out of 100 to 100. And I'm doing that with all the recommendations this company has given me to fix my specific problems. I'm not just taking a probiotic that you hear about without knowing what exact issues you're having. It's just a waste of money. They specifically told me different probiotics to take if I want, or I could do it all through natural foods. And thus I created a list I put on my refrigerator. Let me show you what that looks like. Out of all the different recommendations they gave, different spices to help with different bacteria, either to increase or decrease. This bacillus supplement to help with metabolism issues. Other things I just put in groups 1 through 6, which correlate to specific things they're trying to fix in my body. From group 1, one of the flags I found that I need fixing, these are some of the foods that can fix it. So every day I try to pick something from group 1, 2, 3, all the way down to 6, with a little at the bottom extra note of stuff that you should be kind of doing every day, just overall healthy anyways, that I was willing to do. So I've got this on my fridge for myself, my wife, my child. It's all different. So it's kind of hard to manage this every day, but the more you practice, the more you get better at. So the only new thing for inflammation in the body that I'm testing right now is red light therapy. So I've got a month that I'm doing that's supposed to help with just inflammation, deep tissue at the cellular level using red light and near infrared light. Check out my previous podcast episodes I've had on that. It's very enlightening. And then the guest I just had today, which hasn't even aired yet, talking about, the different types of fibers you should be having. And the one I was using right here is psyllium husk powder, from this company. Now, I know nothing about their company, which tells me it's probably one I should switch to the guest I just had on my show, which I will be doing. And as you can see, it takes care of my soluble fiber issue, but my insoluble fiber is something that I need to work at. And if I can't get it from natural foods enough, which I'm telling you right now I can't, then that's why you supplement. So moving on, getting better quality sleep, besides tracking it with my Whoop device, trying to go to bed a little bit earlier, not looking at devices too late right before I go to bed. I've been using this product from BioOptimizers, Magnesium Breakthrough, did wonders to help me with better quality sleep. Not only that, but one of the main things too was to lower my blood pressure, and it's been the number one thing that has dropped it significantly, where this is now a must in my program. Their approach is taking different magnesium types to get the full synergistic benefit. And I think for exactly sleep are the magnesium malate, magnesium taurate. It doesn't have any magnesium glycinate, which is typically the one you hear about all the time. But ever since taking this, it's been next level for sleep. And then this one I just recently added just a real cheap glycine powder. And I actually kind of got this idea from ChatGPT when I'm trying to up my longevity game and what could I add to get to that next level that's not going to break the bank. And then we can work on other stuff for biohacking later. And this was one of the first ones that popped up. Glycine, helping nitric oxide production, taking this right before you go to bed, not only will help you sleep, just having nitric oxide production improving just helps a whole slew of different hormonal systems, circulatory health by vasodilating. That's the number one thing that nitric oxide does, which helps everything while you sleep. So that's pretty much the newest thing I've been taking for that. And to be honest, I never had too much problems with sleeping to begin with. It was more of just getting more hours in, and that was just adjusting your lifestyle and not staying up till midnight. That was kind of an easy one, and definitely seeing the improvement off my fitness tracker. So going on to stress management, I mean, basically everyone's got to figure out if work life, family life, having children, these issues are stressing you out. The number one thing is just keep working on them. There's not a supplement fix of this kind of problem. It's pretty unique to each person. So I actually don't talk about this one too much. So basically that's what I've been working on for my 6 pillars of fitness, just new additions, things that I've mastered. There's always room for improvement. That's why I love what I do, podcasting, and meet different experts and enthusiasts and doctors from all walks of life in the health and wellness industry. I'm only getting better at this. If anyone's interested, I'm spending most of my time on my SKOOL community. Click the link in the show notes if you're interested in checking this out. I do office hours on there, coffee chats, and answer questions all day. And I'd love to help out my over 40 brethren out there. So thanks for listening, and I'll catch you on the next one.